All right, guys, welcome back to the Cinema Boys podcast with one of your co-hosts, Jacob Price, and with your other co-host,
Devan Franklin, and I would like to personally apologize for last week. We didn't record. We watched Clown in the Cornfield, and then I got sick and wasn't 100%. And by the time I was good to go on camera, it was already Monday, Tuesday, and then we had 2 days later watched the movie we're reviewing today.
and that is Final Destination Bloodlines. So I'm excited. I mean, I've always been a Final Destination fan, and Devin just recently watched the Final Destination movies. He's watched all 6 within a week.
Yeah,
and 5 in a day.
Yeah, Monday. Monday.
Yeah.
We sat there and watched 1 through 5, and then Thursday we went there and watched the premiere of Final Destination Bloodlines, and yeah, I mean, like I said, that was the first time. I had no idea what the movies were like. I had only seen the big events and didn't know the in-depth detail. I thought just by seeing the events, I thought it was one of those where it led up to the giant event. I didn't know it was gonna. You get the event and then everything that happens after. So definitely some of these are thinkers. It makes you think a little bit. Kind of figure out what's gonna happen to the people, and all that. But yeah.
But yeah, it was fun watching Devin watch all the movies because obviously I knew what was going to happen and when it was going to happen. So watching his reactions was pretty fun. But yeah, I mean, let's just get right into the movie if you're ready.
I'm ready.
So yeah, I mean, the main thing that people come to these movies for, or at least what I would say, is definitely like the kills.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things. And I mean, sorry about our dogs doing that. But I mean, I feel like that this movie delivers on that pretty well. I mean, they do use some CGI, but that's just the day and age we're in right now with movies and everything. A lot of just digital graphics and everything. But I mean, if that doesn't really turn you off, I mean, it's not too bad, I would say. I mean, there's some pretty good and just wince-inducing scenes for sure. I mean, I can talk. Obviously, this is a spoiler podcast, so if you didn't know, I can talk about the deaths. But like something like the garbage can, garbage truck death, that's pretty just. Oh, I felt that. Like those like crushing scenes are terrible. The piercing scenes, both of them, to be honest.
Actually, yeah.
What? Dude, they are going crazy back there, but it's just pretty brutal. So that's what like I mainly go for these movies for, and it did deliver on that for sure.
I think one of my main interests in the movie was having just watched all the movies. I mean, the kills were really good, but I know just seeing Bloodlines in the title, me and Jacob kind of had conspiracies a little bit, trying to guess these kind of crazy potential stories. I think one I floated out was it going back to the second movie, and then especially you kind of fed into it a little bit on the way to the movie, which because he knew more than I did. Like I said, I just watched all these movies, and you kind of more grew up on them, where I just like literally just binged them in one day. And he was like talking about how the people in the second movie were supposed to be on that bus or. Yeah, the train.
Yeah, the train at the end of 3.
Into 3, and then it was supposed to be a background kill in 4 or whatever it was, and then kept getting read out, like, whatever, yeah. And then I was like, so in my head, I was like, oh, Bloodlines. I was like, what if it's like those two, like, because it's it kind of leads into like the two survivors possibly making a relationship out of each other.
Yeah.
So I was like,
if you didn't know, like Bloodlines obviously it's a different kind of take, as we've seen just like a group of survivors and death start chasing them down.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what Final Destination is, it's basically like Devin was saying, that big event happens, a big catastrophe where a lot of people die, but somebody has a premonition before and see what happens, and they usually get like a couple survivors off, and then death comes back because they're supposed to be dead. They were kind of like not supposed to see that, so they just slip through deaths, whatever. and then Death comes back and starts killing them one by one, like how they were supposed to die in whatever way. Like Death has a pattern in every movie. So yeah, that's kind of what these are about usually, and this is the first one where it's like about someone saves a whole lot of more people than that usually happens.
Yeah.
And then it's too much for Death to kill, and so they eventually have some families. So then eventually Death comes back and starts killing off the families that aren't even supposed to be alive at all.
Yeah, this one's for the premonition wise, like it honestly was probably one of the most. Or while you're talking, I was trying to think like the plane one wasn't, or was obviously like had a whole plane full of people, and then two was I don't know why I'm totally blanking.
The car crash.
Yes, and then it kind of like slowed down with how many people total with three, and kind of four a little bit with the roller coaster. Probably only like
Three was the roller coaster.
Three was the roller coaster. Yeah, 3 and 4 kind of slowed down a little bit with how many were completely affected by it. With the roller coaster probably getting 8 people after the people who were technically saved from it, and then the car IndyCar, or I guess I call it IndyCar, but
NASCAR.
Like NASCAR, but I guess we don't know how many people overall was, but it wasn't as big. And then obviously 5 being a whole bridge collapsing. That definitely probably there was probably a lot more than we could actually see on camera of how many people died, and then obviously this one set up as like
but he only saved that group of people.
Yeah.
And that's why in this one, when the girl, like the grandma, because this takes, like her granddaughter is having like dreams or whatever, nightmares I should call them, about her premonition, and that's because she's about to die and the death's about to start coming for that family. But yeah, while we see the premonition, I thought it was all right.
I don't think
she saves a lot of people, like hundreds of people, and that's why some of them create families.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like the premonition itself, it's all right for me. I don't know.
There was an interesting way to introduce it for sure. The start of the film, I was curious.
I feel like they did it okay at first, but
at first I'm watching and I was like, I'm so thrown off right now. It's because it's like old timey feel. I believe, I can't remember exactly, but I want to say it was 1950 or 1960.
Yeah, it was like around there.
A later scene, the lady who had the premonition, Iris, the grandma, she had scrapbook pretty much. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's probably she kept all the people who were involved in the original premonition that she saved, all of their obituaries saved, and there's a whole timeline from when the event was supposed to happen, and then all the way to like 2000s, where everyone in that like whoever went on to have families, they they got killed, and then them themselves, and then it just became just Iris and JB. I forgot what his actual name was, but I just remember it was JB.
I mean, that was basically his name because those were his initials. So.
And so yeah, they were the last two alive, and like you said, the death caught up with Iris eventually, and then I think she had 2-3 months left. I forgot exactly what she said, and then.
But I feel like that was just natural death because it was cancer.
But to her, she was like, he got me one way.
I mean, you never know, but yeah.
And so that was I mean, yeah, it was kind of interesting. And then since she had a kid that she was supposed to never have, and
multiple kids.
Yeah, multiple kids, and those kids had families of their own. Now they had to go after them as well. Yeah.
One thing I do have to kind of say about this movie, though, is it doesn't really expand upon the lore and even have, like, a little callbacks to the previous movies like the other ones has had. I mean, that's not completely, like, a bad thing, except just rehashing the same rules that we've already learned. Like, you can either kill somebody to take however long they have left, or you can try to kill yourself, stop your heart, and then hopefully can come back to life.
Yeah.
And then death will that will break the chain, and then basically you'll save yourself and anyone that is supposed to die after you. I wish they kind of added something upon that. And then obviously you kind of learn Tony Todd's uh, backstory, and that's JB, the character Devan was talking about earlier. And obviously this is his last movie, and it was a pretty sad scene. Because, like, if you knew how he died, it was basically him just, like, saying goodbye to the audience and everything. But so, yeah. I mean, rest in peace, Tony Todd. Man was a legend in the horror community. But, yeah. His scene was alright to me. I mean, it's not like he didn't just come out of the blue. They actually were searching for him. I kind of do like that more. But how do you feel about his appearance?
I mean, he just gave him the rundown of the rules. I mean, it was pretty solid send-off wise. And then I just thought it was like...
That's what he always does, though, is just give them the rules.
And he just gives them the rules, and then I just liked it where they were, like, wanting way more. Like, this one I feel like they wanted a lot more out of him. Like, the characters themselves wanted a lot more out of, like, what he had to say than other movies. And then he just kind of was like, nah, I'm done with all that. And he's like, I'm going to live my life, whatever I have left now. And then he just, like, literally just walks out. And it's so funny. Because they also didn't completely pay attention to what he was saying either. They were too, like, I think that in their heads, he was going to fix it all. And then he's just like, no. He's just like, oh, no. He's like, no, I'm done. I was like, my time's up. And then he's like, I'm going to enjoy whatever that time I have left.
But he also had, like, cancer as well.
Yeah.
So maybe, that is just part of life because, I mean, death couldn't get them and they did basically live their whole life.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty funny movie. I do want to say that. There are, like, a couple comedic scenes, especially when you find out why one character didn't die at first. That's a pretty funny scene. I don't want to spoil it for the people that haven't watched the movie yet, but definitely go and watch it, and you'll know what scene I'm talking about for sure. It's a pretty good one. But yeah, I mean, the characters were okay. My favorite characters were the brothers, Eric and Bobby, for sure. They had, like, a broken family element, but, like, they weren't really focusing on too much. Like, the dad was just barely in the movie.
He was introduced and then just, like, had random, like, he just hated the mom. Or, like, he was just, like, going against it.
Which, I mean, makes sense. The mom just kind of left,
up and left.
Left when the main character was 10 and then just randomly came back.
Yeah.
After was it just after...
Iris had passed, yes.
Iris has passed. Yeah,
so her
right.
mom.
No, yeah, her mom. But they try to do this, like, mom and daughter thing. And that doesn't really work with me, really. I don't think they really fleshed that out too well. It's just because obviously I know death's coming for you. So you just go. But that relationship, like, I guess she lost a mom. Spoiler, like, at the end of the movie. And, like, I guess that would make her cry. But I feel like she wouldn't cry as much. Like, but I guess they just went through everything. But they just really fleshed them out too well. Like, same with the brother. They, like, the mom, or I can't talk right now. The brother was literally like, oh, wait, you left me, blah, 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 just like mom.
Yeah.
But that was, like, the only time that really showed, or the beginning of the movie, and then when he finally said it. And then, obviously, he ends up saving her, and that's really it. Which, I mean, they are brother and sister, so I would hope you would save your sister in that situation. How do you feel about the characters, dude?
Like, kind of feeding onto the whole, the family dynamic. Like we already mentioned, the dad was kind of just there in a sense, movie wise, and then the mother-daughter thing, I feel like they try to force that on us, but, like, the thing is, she was, like, the main character had only, like, given in to kind of accepting her mom again probably, like, 5 minutes or, like 10 15 minutes movie time until everything happened. Like, they were only their deaths had happened. Like, they were, like, she was, like, not really trusting her, but, like, also were, like, they knew they had to stay together just to have the best chance of beating this whole thing. And then once the two brothers had their deaths, then, like, they're like, okay, we got this together. and then that's the only kind of like you feel like a bonding situation, I
Yeah.
guess. But yeah, it was just a very broken family where it was like, and then you saw in the beginning of the movie where the brother was closer to the other side of the family, like his cousins and stuff like that, compared to his own sister, because she had gone to college and then cut off all communication with
Yeah,
her.
like I said, that's what the brother was
Yeah.
kind of blaming for her when he was like, "Oh, you left me," basically. Trying to compare it to what the mom did when she left, which is kind of crazy in my eyes.
Where yeah, because I want to say it was roughly 10 years had been gone. I think is what I feel like.
Something like that, yeah.
And then I think she's been in college for a couple months, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just like
I don't know exactly when, but the brother was also super forgiving of the mom when she showed up, like, right away. Also, I'm pretty sure the brother was, like, a baby, though, so he didn't really
Yeah, he
remember
was
the
like-
mom. So, kind of just more excited to meet her, I guess. But, yeah, I kind of just wish they did more with the characters and everything.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like a terrible movie. Obviously, if you're going into this, it's like a good Final Destination movie. I just expected the best because of the 95, or it was 95%.
Now
It's
93.
93. But those like high reviews got me hyped up way too much. I wouldn't say it's that crazy. I mean, it's not a bad movie, but it's not really super
93
crazy.
worthy, I feel like.
Yeah.
Especially like, I mean, on a level of like a Thunderbolts and stuff like that, which I
Yeah,
know it's kind of
exactly.
different dynamics or whatever, but these guys are just rating on overall films, I feel like. And then personally, I'd rather go watch Thunderbolts again. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had to choose
Yeah, for
between
sure.
one rewatch, obviously I would still go watch Final
I
Destination.
wouldn't even say this is one of my Final Destination, I want to say this is one of my favorite Final Destination movies.
I think we both had it like top
unfortunately.
3 or 4.
Top 3 or top 4.
We have to redo the list again.
Yeah, and I couldn't really tell you. I mean, that takes me so long just to think of what movie I really liked the best. But yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as 4. That's definitely a good thing. So I mean, if you're a Final Destination fan, you're really gonna like this. What?
No, I just remember 4 and it's not a shot at 4.
I just don't like that movie at all. Alright.
We did not like that movie.
So yeah, I mean, do you have anything else to say?
No, I mean, the movie definitely like we mentioned after, definitely saved itself in the last like 20 or so minutes of that movie, just the way it was. And another thing we mentioned right after the film was kind of how the deaths weren't as previewed, but like
they didn't set them up.
Yeah, that's
in
what I was thinking.
a
Like
trap
movies.
like in the previous movies, or like there were a couple times they did it, but like it wasn't really many of the deaths. It was like 1 or 2 of them that they kind of set up throughout. I wish that was just more of the focus, but it kind of did take away from the movie. And as Devin was just saying, I'm glad he kind of reminded me. Yeah, the ending did make it up because, I don't know, I just don't like good endings in Final Destination movies.
Yeah.
So I was about to say, so when the brother saved the sister, I was like, so it's just going to be a happy ending like that? But at the end of the movie, I forget, it was like someone's dad, and
Yeah,
was
it was
like-
his prom date's dad.
yeah, and she was like, "Thank God Charlie saved my life."
He was being all
And then he was
snobby.
like, or she was like, restarted my heart, brought me back from life. Yeah, something like that. And she was like, and he was like, technically he didn't. He was like, a human can't restart a heart. And then it was like, what? And then like you saw this penny get stuck in a
Which happened to be the
railroad
penny
track.
from
the
original.
Iris's book, because she had
Yeah.
it from her premonition still. When she stole it from a child, which I thought was pretty funny. That child was so snarky. I mean, he kind of
His death is pretty. His death was deserved.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. That was like Devin's favorite of the
Yeah,
movie.
it just caught me off guard. I thought it was like, and then like when I'm watching it, I put it together and watch it happen. I was like, oh yeah.
But yeah, the penny gets stuck in like a railroad track, makes the a train go off the track and basically come out of nowhere, honestly, and just start running them down. And then it stops, and then they start running again, and then it was carrying some logs, and they get squashed by logs, and that's the movie. That's how it ends.
Yeah. And I guess another thing also is like where you mentioned how there wasn't any ties. I feel like the only of other movies as much as other ones, the only real like obvious tie I feel like off the top of my head at least was number 2, like the second movie because there is one they're leaving the hospital from the brothers' kills and meeting JB, and they're pulling out and they stop right in time, and then a truck with a bunch of logs drive by, and then also they get smashed by logs. I don't know if that was also supposed to be a
from like
thing as well, but when I don't really think of keeping an eye out for it as much.
Or maybe that literally like the log truck wasn't really a callback, but it was to set up how they die.
I guess so too.
It could be
I
like
took it as a call.
omen.
Yeah, and then you mentioned I didn't really see anything for 180 either.
Except like there was a plane in Iris's notebook, but that's about it.
Yeah, there was no. Usually there's like, I feel like they all got mentioned. They all mentioned all the other movies mentioned the first movie. I guess besides the fifth one. Besides the end.
Oh yeah.
Besides the end.
Obviously, because the fifth one was a prequel, which I love, but Devan does not like.
I don't know. I was like. I don't know. I don't know why, but it just didn't right with me for some reason.
Well, because if you watch it again, they do a really good job about like hiding it's 2000. Because like they have the cars, their clothes is 2000s.
Yeah.
Because even though like I searched up when eye surgery was made, it was like made in the 1980s. So, yeah.
It definitely seems more advanced, I guess. Yeah.
That's why I said I was making sure, and like it does fit the timeline. That's why they were trying to throw you off. But.
Acupuncture in the 2000s, crazy.
Definitely, that was definitely a thing. That started.
I know, but like I don't. Yeah, I know. But I guess I just feel like the whole. I don't know. Maybe I guess this is also I didn't think about massage parlors when I was growing up. Yeah, I guess it's just now being a thing when you get older.
But yeah, I mean, do you just want to go to the real score now?
I'm ready for it.
All right.
Alrighty, so now we're gonna, like we mentioned, we're gonna go into our real scores. I'm gonna start it off. I think talking about it might have brought. I think coming out of the theater, I said 84. I think just talking about it a little bit, I'm gonna go a little bit lower, not too crazy, but I'm gonna go to an 82, 36, just because I was doing a more than depth thinking of kind of where I rank it in my movies.
Yeah.
In both the Final Destination series, and movies in general. So I think I'm going to move it down just that bit. Nothing too crazy where it's like, don't watch this movie because I dropped it down 2%. Like it's just more thinking about it. I mean, it's still a good movie. The kills are pretty good. And I like you had mentioned, the humor is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Especially the kill before he found, like the guy found out the one thing you had mentioned before without completely spoiling it, but like it gets called out and they make fun of her, like that's the stupidest.
That was the garbage truck kill.
Yeah, she had called that one out and they were making fun of her because how stupid it was, and then watched it happen.
Yeah, when she called it out, I was like, oh, it's gonna happen, but not to who we think. So yeah, you have anything else to say, or is it?
No, but I think that's it. For sure, go watch the movie if you're definitely a Final Destination fan.
So yeah, I was also thinking in 84, so I'll put it at like an 84.13%. So yeah, like I said, pretty good movie. Obviously, Final Destination movies haven't really had the best like cast of characters. The other ones just had some more fun characters. Like I said, I like the brothers, and I kind of like the family that died more than the family we're kind of watching. So that is kind of funny. But yeah, it definitely has a lot of kills in it. Some good kills. I mean, if you don't like CGI, like I said earlier, that might take you out of the movie for some, but it didn't bother me too much because that's kind of the way Final Destination has been going for a while now. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'll make another movie or anything like that, I will be super excited if they do, because I just love these movies, grew up off of these movies. So yeah, I mean, definitely go watch this. Next week we will be watching Lilo and Stitch. Is that right?
Yes.
A live action remake of Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, we're not just rewatching the original. So that one should be good. I think they haven't had. There's no early.
And hopefully we'll get that video on time, because this video
that
is
one should
coming
be on
out
time.
a day late.
Yeah, but it's okay because we posted it at least this week. So we get that little wiggle room because they're like, well, at least they were uploaded this week.
Yeah. We do apologize again for missing last week.
Yeah.
Things happen, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So always, we appreciate you guys watching. And I mean, yeah, this was kind of a shorter video, but it's a Final Destination movie. So you don't really have to think
There's
too
not
much.
character development to get into or whatever. It's just you're there for the kills anyways.
Yeah. So, all right. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully. All right. Bye.
See ya.